Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we are diving into Flutter development and we are building a music recommendation app called Sonnet. This app will use the power of OpenAI API to create personalized playlists based on your mood and preferred genre. So if you are a Flutter enthusiast looking to create an innovative music app, or simply curious about building with OpenAI API, this tutorial is for you. We will cover everything from setting up the Flutter project, integrating OpenAI API, designing the user interface, and implementing the core functionalities. Let's get started. Okay, so guys, this is what we are going to create. It's just a 4-page application, all right? So the first one here is just our home page, and yeah, with these details, and this is a button, all right? So when you click on this button, you are going to see this page, all right? You are going to see this particular page that shows the mood, the various mood, and the various journals for you to select, and the submit button. Now let me add this that when the page, anytime the page load, you are going to have different positioning for these circles, and they are going to have different sizes. All right, so this particular size that I seeing it over here for this particular mood, probably on the next load it might be smaller, or it might be a medium one or something like that, and this one might be bigger or something like that. So it's more like they don't have a faced size, and they don't have a face position. So that's one interesting thing that I will be doing. And so you just have to select a mood, select the channel, and once you submit, and you are going to see this particular page. But if you don't do any selection, you are going to receive a message that says that you did not make any selection or something like that. And yeah, once you do that, you are going to see the mood that you selected, all right, the image and the name of the mood, all right, and it gets the playlist for it. If you're not interested in the playlist, you can click on this add button over here, this floating action button over here, and it's going to bring you back to this place, and you are going to make another new selection and do a submission, which will bring you here. If you're interested in the playlist that you see, you can click on the add to playlist at the top over here, where you are going to see this show dialog, all right, where you either can add a playlist or create a playlist to either Spotify or your Audiomack, all right. Yeah, so this is what we are going to create, and let's head over to Visual Studio Code and get started, all right. Okay guys, so we are now here. So yeah, let's get started. Let's create our app. Okay, so at the top I'll just click on view command palette. All right, new project application. I'll select my folder. All right, it's going to be desktop, so select, and I will name out app Sonnet Sonnet app. Okay, then press enter. Wait for everything to be created. So let me zoom in. Okay, I think this is fine. All right, so we can just run our app. Flutter run. Okay, so whilst the app is running, let's do a couple of things. Okay, so we'll create an asset folder. So assets, all right, and inside these assets, I want to put a couple of images inside. All right, these images will be available on our Git repo, so you don't have to worry about it. You just get those images. All right, so I have my desktop. I have images folder, so I just copy, open over here, assets, and I'll just paste it. All right, so you can see a couple of images, and we're making use of them. All right, so if you click over here, you can see. All right, okay, so no problem. All right, so what we want to do is inside our lib folder, we'll create a folder called components. Okay, and inside here we'll create a toggle page file, right? And it's going to be a stateful widget. We'll call it toggle page. Right, yeah, so our app is running. Let me bring this down a bit. Yeah, so our app is running and we can see everything over here. All right, so let's design our toggle page. There are a couple of things that we want to do. All right, we write the codes and I'll explain everything that is happening. Okay, so start with the bool and we'll call this show home screen. Don't worry, there are a couple of things that we are going to see. Show home screen and we're going to set it to true. All right, that being done, we can create our method. All right, so start with void um, toggle screen, and then so we do a set state, and inside here we can pass the show home screen to it. And we'll just all right. So that being done, we can come to our build. All right, and do a couple of things. Let me just clear everything over here. And we'll do an if show home screen. All right, something should happen, and then we want to return the home screen, which we are yet to create. All right, we are yet to create this. Okay, and then inside the home screen, we'll call the show prompt callback, which we are also yet to create. Okay, so don't worry. Show prompt screen. All right, so there will be a couple of issues. Don't worry. I'll set that to the toggle screen. Okay, semicolon over here, and then else we do something, and then else we'll return the prompt screen, which we are also yet to create. Sorry, we'll return our prompt screen. And then we will call show home screen. All right, and then we will call the toggle screen too as well. Okay, so now let's create these pages. Okay, let's create these pages. So inside our lib, all right, let me explain what is happening. Okay, so what we've done is this is just a simple toggle page. All right, functionality. All right, we use that to actually toggle screens. Okay, all right, we used to toggle between both the home and the prompt screen. All right, so that's what we've actually created. All right, so let's create this home screen and import them over here. All right, so we'll create inside here, we'll create our first page. We'll create home screen. All right, it's going to be an STF here, so we'll call it home screen. Don't forget our home screen takes a callback. All right, our home screen takes a callback. All right, yeah, so let's do that. So it's just final void callback. All right, So final void callback, and then we are going to show prompt screen. Where is it? Show prompt screen. We just copy that over here, and then we'll add it to the constructor. All right. Required this dot show prompt screen. All right. So we are done. So we can we've created a home screen, so we can import the home screen. All right. So that is done. Okay, and let's do the prompt screen. All right. So prompt screen dot start. All right, and stateful widget as well, so we call it prompt screen. All right. We'll pass our so let me just copy everything over here. All right, and this is not, this is just going to be a show home screen. All right. So show home screen required this dot show home screen. Okay, so we can just add that to this, and that is that. Okay, yeah. So now we want to yeah. So we've created this toggle page. So let's pass the toggle page to the main with the main dots. That's all right. That's our app's root entry. Okay. There are a couple of things. These things we don't need them. These things they have seen over here, we don't need them, so we need to clear them. All right. So let's do that. All right. So we'll do that. We will just clear a couple of things. So I think we can clear. Hold on. We can clear everything over here. Okay, no problem. We can as well clear everything. In here, no problem. Okay. So my app class. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that is just that. Okay. So now let's do a couple of things inside our material app. Let's remove the debug banner. Right. We set it to false, and our home is going to be it's going to be the toggle page. All right. It's going to be the toggle page that we just created. Okay, so let me call the app flutter run, and we are supposed to see the home page. All right, at the moment we don't have anything in the home page. All right, so let me see. Assuming I want to do scaffold body, and I'll probably pass it to a text. All right, text widget, and inside here I'll just say data. Let me center it to as well. Center the widget. All right, so if I refresh, yeah, and we can see our home screen. All right, yeah. So let's get going. Okay, so we can now design our home screen. All right, but before we do that, let's do something. Okay, inside our pubspec dot YAML or whatsoever, we want to go and comment something. Okay, so look for assets, all right, and we'll uncomment that. Okay, at the moment we only have an assets folder, and the assets folder takes in images, so that's what we are going to do. All right, so we'll clear everything over here, and yeah, then assets. Okay, yeah, that is done. Okay, that is added, so we can come to our home screen, and there are a couple of things that we want to do. Okay, we don't need this. We are going to make use of a container widget. All right, so let's do that. So a container, and inside our container we specify a decoration. We'll use box decoration, and inside our box decoration we are going to make use of our gradient. All right, and yeah, I'll paste in a code. All right, yeah, so I just pasted in the code. So gradients, we are making use of linear gradients. The begin, all right, so the alignment, so the top center, then the end alignment is bottom center, right? So this first color is some color, all right. You can see it's not that black, it's not that dark or something, but the second one is dark. And we can save, refresh, and restart the app, and we can see this amazing color that we've created for our background. All right, yeah, so that being done, then we can continue. All right, we can continue. So let me add a const over here. Okay, so inside our container we add a chart, and we are going to make use of the column. All right, column. So let me pass a comment into y. Container or content, and then over here column stuff here, then column and see. All right, and here we can do a couple of things. All right, so we want to have do a cross axis dot center, and yeah, I don't mean nothing will show. All right, yeah, nothing is going to show because we don't have anything inside. So let's put a couple of things. All right, let's put a couple of things. So inside of column we are going to specify so I would say fetch expanded. All right, then I'll use second expanded. So we are going to make use of two expanded widgets. All right, and so let me call expanded widgets, and the chart of the first expanded widget is just going to be a pattern. All right, okay, it's going to be a pattern widget, and inside here we are just going to specify const edge inserts link, and we are going to do a top, all right, of 40.0. Let me do a couple of things. All right, okay, and let's give a flex to our expanded. All right, so we are going to give a flex of 3, so that means that it is going to take almost a big, all right, parts of the screen. All right, and the second one is another expanded over here. Okay, and this two we are going to do, let me this one, let me call it column for that for now. All right. We are still not going to see anything because we've not at the moment not stated anything that we want to see over there. All right. So let me pass a comment over here. Pattern around image in stack. No, we'll call the stack widget very soon. Okay. So that being done, we can now call the stack widget. All right. So I'll pass. So we say stack starts here. Stack ends here. All right. And over here we can call the chart property, and we can make use of the stack. All right. Widget, which takes in children. All right. If we still refresh, and still, yeah, going to see something like that. Still, there's no content. Okay, so we are not going to see anything. All right. Now we can make use. We can now show our content that we want to show. All right. And the first content I want to show is just an image. All right. Okay. So I'll say container for image. All right. Container for image. So we'll make call the container widget, and inside our container widget we can make use of the decoration property, boss decoration widget, and inside here we want the container to take the width of the screen. So we do a media query dot of context, and we'll do size dot width. All right. So this will mean that whatever content that is going to show should take the entire width of the screen. All right. And inside our decoration we can specify a couple of things. We are going to make use of the image property from the box decoration widget, and then we can do decoration image widget. All right. So decoration image. All right, so it takes in an image, and then we are going to specify the asset image widget. All right, and here we need to specify the path for our image. All right, so the path for our image is in an asset folder. All right, so assets. All right, images. Okay, and what we are going to use is there's an image called sonnet. Where is it? The png. All right, this image, that's what we are going to use. So sonnet. All right, dot png. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then we want the image to fit well. We want the image to fit well, so we'll do so right after here, we can do a fit. We'll do then we'll do a dot cover. Okay. All right. So if we restart or refresh our app, we are supposed to see an image. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Okay. So let's get going. So right after our container, we want to specify something. Right after our container, we want to specify something. All right, and what we want to do is pattern for a container, right, stacked at the bottom of the screen. All right, so call a pattern widget, and const we'll do an edge intersect only. All right, and then we'll do a bottom of about 40. All right, okay, so let me put some comments in to arrange everything perfectly, and then we can make use of the chat property. Now, what do we want to pass to the chat property? All right, we are going to make use of an align. Okay, we're going to make use of an align widget. All right, so let's do that. And inside the align, all right, we'll do alignment. All right, alignment dot bottom center. All right, alignment, and we'll do alignment dot bottom center. Okay, that being done, we can now do the container widget. All right, so chat we'll call the container widget, and inside the container widget we can do a couple of things. Okay, so the first thing we want to do inside the container widget is make use of the pattern property that the container widget presents. All right, const edge insert, they will do dot all right, so 15.0, and still inside our container widget we can do decoration, box decoration. And what do we want to do inside our box decoration? All right, the first thing we want is a border. All right, so let's do that. Though I will see the outcome very soon. So a border dot all, and then we'll do a width. All right, a width of 0.4. Then we'll do a color. Okay, let me just we'll use the VScode. All right, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, so color height. All right, so sorry. Okay, let me do something over here. So that's with that for the container. Okay, we are not done. We want it to be rounded. All right, so we'll do shape. All right, box shape dot cycle. All right, shape box shape dot cycle. Okay, that is done. Then we can, so that's for the first container. We can do another container. All right, and in here we want to specify a couple of things. Okay, what we want to do is we'll specify the height of 110, then we specify the width of the same 110. Then we can do a decoration, box decoration, and inside our box decoration there are a couple of things that we want to do. All right, so let's do that. The first thing we want to do is specify our color, so let's do that. We specify our color. The next thing we want to do is we want to specify our shape. All right, and our shape is going to be rounded as well. That being done, then the next thing we want to do is we want to specify an image, which is we are going to use to display our logo. All right, so let's do that. So image property, then we'll make use of decoration image widgets. All right, so let me just copy everything that I did over here. So yeah, everything over here. So in here, I'll just clear everything. All right, so okay, we want to show a logo. All right, and I have an image over here that says sonnet logo.png. All right, so sonnet logo.png. Okay, I think that is just done with everything that we need. Okay, in our first expanded. All right, so we can refresh our app, and you can see that yeah, we can see this over here. We can see this over here. All right, so this rounded circle with our image and all that, and that's awesome. All right, so let's get going. Let's do the things that we need in our second expanded. All right, uh, for our second expanded, all right, I made us automatically do a column. All right, but we need to wrap the column in in a pattern. Okay, so let's do that. The pattern is just going to be, it's not going to be, or it's going to be a top. Sorry, it's going to be only top, and that is going to be 15. All right. Um, so let me do so some commenting column starts here. Then I'll copy everything over here and do column ends here. All right. Okay, that is fine. All right, so now let's do what we want to do. All right, but before we do that, we are going to make use of Google Fonts. All right, we are going to make use of Google Fonts. So let me do that. So in your favorite browser, uh, search for that. All right, look for the pub.dev. All right, packages. Okay, so I am getting this. So in here we can search for Google Fonts. Google Fonts. All right, and we can see Google Fonts over here. It has a ways that we can do the installation, so you can see how we can add it. Okay, yeah, so you see how we can add it. So we just copy it. Okay, let's come back to Visual Studio Code, and then we can add Google Fonts. All right, so as is going to be added, let's do a couple of things. So we are going to make use of a rich text. All right, a rich text widget. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll call the rich text widget. Rich text widget. And there are a couple of things that we are supposed to do. Okay. Yeah, so everything Google Fonts has been added, so we can now make use of it. So let's continue. So inside our rich text widget, there are a couple of things that we want to do. Okay, so make use of the text span widget. All right. So let's do a text align. All right. We'll do text align dot center. All right. So everything that we are going to show within the rich text is going to be centered. Okay. And then inside our text span, we can specify a star. We are going to make use of the Google fonts. At the moment, we've not added it as that to the top right, so we can just click on enter, and you can see that it will be added. So you can see the package is added, Google fonts at the top. All right. So over here, I'm going to make use of a particular font called Inter. All right. Yeah. Sorry. And here I can specify height that I need, and I'm going to make use of 1.3. all right. Okay, so that being done, we can still get going. All right. We want to specify our children. Of course, text span. Text span. All right, and then we can state our children. All right. So we are going to make use of the text span widget as well again. And in here there are a couple of things that we can do or we want to do. All right. So our text, which is going to be a string. All right. And what we are going to say is AI created music application just for your mood. All right. So AI created music playlist. All right. Just for your mood. All right. So backward slash, then that's all right. Okay, so let's do some column, some comments to. All right, let's do something. Let's specify our style, and we are going to make use of the Google font dot inter, and then a couple of things that we want to do. All right, like we want to specify the font size. All right, the font size is going to be 14.0. Want to also specify the font width. All right, and the font weight, and the font width we want to use 300. And the last thing we want to do is the color. Right, we are going to use color height. So let me just copy everything over here. All right. Awesome. So let me restart the app. And yep, yeah, a couple of issues because we need to call the app. All right. So because we just added a font. All right. So let's do that and run it. Okay. So while the app is running, we can get going. So we'll copy our text span because we are going to make use of another text span as well. Okay, And this one, the first thing we are going to do is we are not going to make use of this called what, get started. Okay, get started now, sorry. Okay, and we are going to, the font size is going to be 20, and the font width is going to be bold, and the color is still going to be white. Okay, yeah. So let me refresh out some. All right, so we can see AI created music playlist just for your mood. Get started. All right, and the next thing we want to do is add a rounded button. All right, down here. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is so let's pass a comment pattern for arrow forward. All right, so pattern for arrow forward. Okay, or probably container for arrow forward in a pattern. That this will make it make sense a bit. Okay, so we can call the pattern widget const edge inserts, and we are going to use edge inserts only, all right, because we want to do a top, and then we can specify a top of 20.0. Let's do some formatting. All right, and we are going to make use of the container for arrow forward. Okay, so chart, we specify container widget, and inside our container widget, okay, there are a couple of things that we want to do. All right, there are our two containers. All right, so the first thing we want to do is the first one is pattern const edge insert all, and we are going to do 8.0. all right, then we'll do decoration box decoration, and in here we want to specify color, sorry, so let me just copy this. I want to specify a color, and we want it to be a bit lighter, so we'll do an opacity, and that is going to be 0.3. okay, this is not the color that we are going to use. All right, so the color we're going to use is FF, right, CC. Okay, so some more of like pink. All right, and we'll do a shape. Okay, shape.cycle. Okay, so that is just that with the first container. All right, we'll do a child, and then we can do a container as well, another container, and in here we can specify a couple of things. Our height is going to be 50. Our width is going to be 50 as well. Then we'll do our decoration, box decoration, and inside our box decoration, we want to specify a color and shape. Alright, so color this time around is going to be white. Shape is going to be circle. Okay, and we want to specify a padding inside this particular container. So let's do that. Padding const edge insect. Oh, and it's going to be 2.0. Okay, and then the container is going to take a widget. All right, and that is arrow forward. All right, arrow. Okay, arrow forward, and then we can do that. Okay, so we are going to center it, so let's do centered. All right, arrow forward, centered. Okay, chart, the center widget, and inside our center widget we'll do another chart. We are going to make use of an icon. Icons dot so arrow forward. All right. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. So awesome. All right. So when we refresh, and then we can see this arrow. At the moment when we click on it, nothing will happen. All right. So let me wrap that in a gesture detector. All right. Okay, so this arrow over here, we'll wrap it in a gesture detector. Okay, let me copy this. In shit. Sorry about that. Okay, so in here I can do the on tap, and then I'm going to call the widget. All right, then I'll make use of the show prompt screen callback that we did. Okay, so restart or refresh the app. Okay, and then when I click on this, it should send me to the show prompt screen, which at the moment we don't have anything over there. Okay, so that is just that. So let's do something over here. So we are done with the home screen. Okay, so let me make use of the scaffold widget, and then the body, and then I'll make use of a text widget. All right, I'll just show some data. I'll wrap the text widget in a center widget. All right, let me refresh the whole app, and then here, so I'm now in the prompt screen. When you click, sends you to the prompt screen. All right, yeah, so we are just keep going. We are going to build a prompt screen and get going. All right, yeah. Okay, so in here there are a couple of things that we want to do. Okay, so this is what we're actually going to do. We are going to create this screen, the prompt screen. All right, that contains the mood and the various journals and the submit button. All right, so I used two expanded widgets inside a column. All right, so the first expanded widget is taking the various modes. The second expanded widget is taking the journals and the submit button. All right, yeah, so that is what we are going to do. So let's start by creating our background and everything. Okay, um okay, so at the top here I'm going to paste the code over here for the various journals. All right, so so I created a list, the general list. All right, final list string the journals. So from jazz through to the various journals, you can add them if you want to add others to it and all that. All right, so now let's create the background for our container. All right, so we'll make use of the container widget, and inside the container widget, okay, I just want to copy codes from the home screen. All right, um so we made use of yeah, so I'll copy the codes over here so that we can have the background color. So comment over here, container for all content. All right, okay, so let's see that. You can see that. Okay, there are a couple of things that we want to do in here. There are a couple of things that we want to do inside our container. For this particular container, it has an image. All right, it has a background image, so we have to make use of the image property inside the decoration. We'll call the decoration image. All right, let me copy the image. We use an image over here. Okay, so I just copy everything and it's going to be this. Okay, so I just clear everything over here and paste everything, and I'm going to make use of a particular image. All right, in the assets folder, the images folder, this background image, you might not see it. Okay, yeah, but it is some background image that we are using. Okay, so it's background background.png. All right, and yeah, so dot cover and all that. Okay, so let me refresh the app and you can see. Yeah, all right, you cannot really see it, it's not that visible, all right, because it's that light and all that. But yeah, so comment here, background image. All right, and then let's make use of the child property inside the container widget, and in here we are going to make use of padding. All right, the padding widget. So the padding widget, and in here const edge insets, we are going to make dot only so that we can specify the various padding that we want. All right, so at the top we want 50. We want 50, and at the left we want 16, at the right we want 16. All right, at the left we want 16 pesos, and at the right we want 16 as well. Okay, all right, so let me pass a comment over here. Okay, so padding around content. Okay, at the moment we'll not be able to see anything because we've not placed anything inside our pattern also. Okay, so the pattern is going to take a widget. All right, and this widget is going to be a child. Is going to be the column widget. All right, so they make use of the child property. Okay, like I explained to you, we have two expanded widgets. Okay, two expanded widgets, the first one for the modes and the second one for the various journals. All right, so let's do that. All right, so expanded. All right, no problem. I'll just copy this. I'll copy these and paste it here as well. And we do cross access and cross access dot stats. Okay, so the first expanded, I just want to display a text. All right. Okay, so I'll just say moods. All right, and then let me center it. All right, so I'll wrap it inside the center widget, and then let me give some color, because let me just give some color. So we use the VScode. All right. Okay, so yeah, so inside this expanded widget, all right, and the first thing we want to do is we'll make use of the pattern widget, and then we specify a couple of things. So we'll specify just edge insets only, and we just specify a pattern at the top of about 50, I think. Oh, 20. Let's do 20. Okay. All right, perfectly done. Okay, we'll pass some comments on very, don't worry, and then we'll make use of the chat property inside our pattern widget, and then we are going to call the column widget. Okay, yeah, so let's do this. Cross access dot stats. Okay, so let me pass some comments. Okay, second expanded for various journals. All right, yeah, and submit button. All right, we said we are going to also make use of this submit button. All right, so let me copy this comment. Okay, so here first expanded for various modes. All right, yeah, so sick. Okay, so I say column for various journals and submit button in a pattern. All right, so that's just, and then we'll do column for, all right. Okay, so if I refresh, I see the mood, but we don't have anything inside our second pattern. All right, so nothing is going to show. So now let's do that. Let's write code for things inside our, all right, so the first thing that we want to do is we'll make use of a text widget. All right, so general text here. So this is just going to be a text that is going to display the word general, right? Okay, so we do star. We're going to use Google fonts to be imported, and we are going to use our favorite font type, and in here we can specify a couple of properties. All right, So we are going to specify a font size of about 16. All right, and we specify a font weight of bold. Okay, font weight of bold. And the next thing we are going to do is just do our color. All right, so our color. Okay, so in here, our color has an opacity, and the opacity is just going to be 0.8 to make it a bit lighter. All right, yeah, so if we refresh, we can see the general text over there. Awesome. All right, so let's get going. The next thing we want to do is to show the various journals. All right, okay, to show the various journals, let's go to the top. Before we come and show the various journals, let's go to the top and write create some variables and a couple of things. So over here, let's create selected journals list. All right, so let's do that. So final sorry so selected, let me just pass the comment, selected journal, right, journals list, because it can be multiple selection and all that. All right, so final, then we create the list. All right, so set, and then we make use of the string variable. Okay, and we just call it selected journals. All right, and we set it to a curly bracket. Sorry. Yep, so that's just that. And then the next thing we want to do is to create a function for selected journals. All right, let's create a function for selected journals. So function for selected journals. All right, so void, and then we are going to call our function on journal tab or something. Okay, all right, so in here, let's pass a string, and then we are going to call it journal. All right, okay, now we can write what we want to do. So we'll make use of the set state, and inside our set state, we make use of the if statement. So let me just write the code. I'll explain what will be happening. All right, so our if and else statement. All right, so if selected journals, all right, the list we created over here, dot contain, all right, contains journal. That's the string we've passed to the function. Okay, then it should do something. All right, we should do selected journal. All right, dot remove. All right, then we'll pass the value. The value is going to be journal. All right, if not, then we should do something. Then we should add the journal. All right, then we should add the journal. The value is going to be, yeah. So basically what we've done is we've just created a function that we can use to select and remove. All right, so we can do multiple selections, multiple remove. All right, a particular journal that we've selected, we can also add it or something like that. All right, so that's what we've done. So now we can come to this part of our code expanded. Okay, so right after our text widget, padding, so we can pass a comment, make use of padding around various channels. All right, so to make use of the padding widget, const edge insert only. All right, and there are a couple of things that we want to do. Specify left 10, right 10, left, sorry, left 10.0, right 10.0, then we will specify at the top of 5, just 5. Sorry. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so inside our idea, we make use of the child property, and we are going to make use of the stateful builder, right? So stateful builder. Why the reason why we are using this is because we don't want any selection or deselection of a music genre that we select, all right, to refresh the page. So we'll be making use of the stateful builder, right? And in here we can specify our builder, all right, and yes, and then we can specify our build context, all right, and we'll make use of the context, and then we can use the state setter, all right, state setter, right, and we'll call the set state. Okay, yep, I think yes, and then we can return a wrap, all right. Okay, so that is done. All right, state state setter, set state board context. All right, so let me do some commenting. Wrap, it starts here. All right, wrap in okay, so inside our wrap there are a couple of things that we want to do. We'll specify our children, and this is going to come from the generous list that we created. I'll use .map, all right, and inside our map we'll call the journal, all right, and then yep, and then we can return, let's create an instance. All right, so final, it's selected, all right, so it's selected, all right. We'll do that, we'll create that to the selected journals, all right. We'll do contains, and the value is just going to be journal, all right. Okay, and then we'll do a return, and the return we want to use a container widget, all right. Okay, there are a couple of issues that we need to fix a while. All right, so so return wrap, all right, and then we do children, so journals.map, all right. Okay, we have to specify that this is a list. Okay, that's all. So there are about 2 different containers, all right. So the first is a border, the second one is a container, right? Yeah, so that's what we are going to do. Okay, so let's do that. So container wait border for each journal. All right, so inside here there are a couple of things that we want to do, and the first thing that we want to do is to do a padding, and we'll do const const edge insect, or it's just going to be 3.0. Then we'll do a margin. All right, we'll do const edge insect only. All right, and then we'll do right of 4.0, and we'll do top of 4.0. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can do decoration, box decoration. Okay, so inside our box decoration there are a couple of things that we want to do. The first thing is to specify our border radius, and our border radius is going to be border radius dot circular. All right, it's going to be 20 pixels, and then we can specify our border, and we are going to make border dot all. All right, our width is going to be 0.4, and our color, the color is going to be white. All right, so const color. All right, then with some opacity, 0.8. Okay, so that is just that for our first container. All right, so let me copy this. We are going to do that for our second container. Okay, so container for each channel. All right, so chart container. All right, there are a couple of things we make use of the padding. So const edge insect. All right, and we'll do an edge insect only. All right, you know what, let's do symmetric. All right, so where we specify horizontal meaning the x as x. All right, so the top left to right. All right, so we specify 16.0, then vertical, that's top to down, or top to the bottom, and we specify 8.0. Okay, so right after here we'll do decoration, box decoration. Okay, we want something to happen. Color, we'll use the is selected and say if it is selected, show this color. All right, the value is just 1 2 3 4 1 2. Okay, that is blue. All right, if not, show a color of height but with some opacity. All right, I will do with opacity. I will do 0.8. All right, okay, yep. So we can continue. All right, so inside our decoration we'll do a border radius, and then we'll do a border radius of about border radius circular, then we'll do about 20.0. all right, perfectly done. Okay, so let's specify our child. All right, so text for each journal. All right, so make use of the text widget, and we can specify a couple of things. So inside our text widget, the first thing is we just want to call the journal. The second thing we want to do is specify our style, and we are making use of the Google fonts .inth. all right, then we will specify a couple of things. All right, so the font size is going to be 14 for all of them. Then we will specify our font weight. All right, our font weight is going to be about 600. all right, and we specify our color. So we use is selected. So if it is selected, the color should be white. All right, but if it is not selected, then the color should be black or dark. Okay, what? Okay, all right, so yep, text container. Okay, container. All right, so let's some. All right, that's awesome. All right, so let's start our app. We come in here, you can see that they are perfectly arranged over here, so we can get the viewers. At the moment, if you do a selection, it will not work. All right, so let's do that. We'll come to our first container. Let me copy this. Awesome. Then we wrap this in a gesture detector. That would say, yep, in gesture detector. All right, so our gesture detector is going to be an on tap. All right, and this is going to be it. So inside our on tap, we'll do a set state. All right, okay, so our set state, then we can do this. Awesome, perfect. So inside here we can do an if statement. If, all right, else. Okay, so if, let's do that for the else. All right, we do selected journals. All right, dot add, and the value is going to be journal. All right, awesome. Then let me copy this and bring it here. I'm going to do a remove. All right, then let's specify our condition in here. So selected journals dot contains, all right, and the value is going to be journal. All right, awesome. So on tap set state, okay, if the selected journal contains, then remove it. All right, if it does not, then we do an add. All right, yep. So that being done, we can try and see what will happen. Awesome. All right, so we can make selection, can do a deselection. All right, that is awesome. All right, that is awesome. So now let's come and add the button. All right, we'll come and add a button to it. All right, and the button, let me show it. So there's a button over here. All right, that we'll be using to do the call. All right, so the API call. So let's do that. So the button, so inside here, we'll come in here. So we are in a column. All right, so say padding around the submit button. All right, so do padding. All right, and then const edge insert, then we'll do only. All right, we want to specify a couple of things. So we are going to do a top of about 60. We'll do a left of about 10. We'll do a right of about the same 10 pixels. All right, okay, and inside the pattern, so we'll make use of the container widget. All right, so we'll use the container to act as a pattern. All right, so container for submit button. Okay, and then so child property container. Awesome. All right, and then inside the container, we'll make use of the padding property const edge insert. I'll use symmetric. All right, and then I'll just do vertical. All right, so that's probably top to down. All right, and I'll do 15.0. Inside here, the container, we want to do a decoration, box decoration, and we specify a couple of properties. All right, so inside our box decoration, we want to specify our border radius, and then border radius is going to be circular, where we are going to just specify 20.0. That's cool. Then we specify our color. It's kind of a light pink or something. All right, so let's do that. Const color to. All right, so let's specify the color. It's about so 1 2 1 2 3 4. Okay. All right. Yep. So I can reach that and see. Yeah, we can see that over there. But at the moment, there's nothing to show over there. So inside our container, we want to write the text, probably submit. All right. So submit text, but I want it to be centered. All right, submit. So submit text. All right, centered. Okay, so chart, we'll use the center widgets, and inside here we'll call the chart property and make use of the text widget. There are a couple of things, so we want to do submit. All right, and then star Google font package or library. Then we'll make use of the inter font type. All right, and then we can specify our font size to be 14.0, and then we can specify our font weight to be bold. Okay. Let me pass the comment over here. Awesome. So if I refresh, awesome. All right. Good. So now let's see what is left. All right. So that means inside the first expanded, we are supposed to do something. All right. So let's do that. All right. Let's see what we are supposed to do. Okay. So we want to show these rounded circles. They do not have a fixed color at any refresh or any restart of the app. And when you come to this particular page, the prompt page, you are going to see this particular avatar can be over here, can be here, can be here. The color can be different colors. So they have different color shapes. They have different colors. All right. They don't have a fixed color. They have different colors, and they can be positioned at any point of the screen, but it has to be within the expanded. And then then they don't have a fixed size too. So this one can be smaller, this one can be bigger at any refresh. All right, so that's something interesting that we want to do. So so let's get going. Okay, so we'll just bring the screen. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to create the random circles for. All right, so random random circles dots. That is going to be a stateful widget, and we'll call it random circles. All right. Okay, awesome. So we want to come in here. And get rid of everything inside the expanded. So everything within the expanded. And then we'll call the random circles. All right. So that will be imported. Awesome. Okay, no problem. So just at the top of the random circles, we'll add something to the constructor. All right, so we'll just call it final function. Okay, this is a string, so for the mood. All right, and this is also a string for the image, and we call it on mood selected. Okay, we have to add it to the constructor, so required this dots on mood selected. All right, you can see there's an issue at the prompt screen. We'll do that. Now let's import that math, right, for some calculations, for some computations. All right. Okay, so at the top here, we want to create a couple of things. We'll make use of the random. That is pre-built to create an instance of that random, and we'll create it to the random. All right, the next thing is to make use of the value list notifier, sorry, value notifier, and this is taking in a string. All right, the first, so for the name, all right, the mood, and we'll call it selected mood. Okay, yep, sorry, so we'll call it selected mood, and we will create it to value, and this will be a now. Let's add a string over here. Okay, let's copy the same thing. This is for the mood, the name of the mood or something. We'll do the same for the image. All right, so instead of selected mood, we'll call it selected mood image. All right, okay, so that's being done, we can create our list for the various moods. All right, I'll copy the data from here and explain what is happening. All right, so this is a data, a list for the various moods and their images. The images can be seen over here. All right, so yeah, so energetic, romance, yeah, so the various moods and their images. Okay, so we want to continue. All right, and then over here, this is going to return. If I let me clear over here, I'm just going to copy the codes and come and paste it and do an explanation of what is happening. Okay, all right, so return to return this. Okay, so what we've done is we first created our list for the circles, for the various circles, and we created a list for the various positionings. All right, the circles will be positioned at various parts of the screens. Okay, and then we created a loop. All right, where we made use of the random. We created a size for the various circles, made use of the random at random. We did some computation over here, and then some variables, double left top. All right, then new position as well, and we check if the variables, if the circles are overlapping or not. All right, and we do a maximum, we do an attempt. All right, we set the attempt to 0. We do a maximum attempt of about 100. Why? Because there's a lot of computation happening. All right, so if you don't do set limit for it and all that, at one point in time you have the screen freezing. All right, and we don't want that. We want the app to be normal. All right, so we continue with our loop, and we did a do. All right, left, yeah, so the left of the screen. So we did constrain mass width and all that. A couple of positionings. All right, we did new positioning, left, top, size. All right, we check the either they overlap. So that's overlap. Any of them we are checking. We don't want them to be stacked on, like circles to be stacked on each other. All right, so we did that attempt. So while, all right, then we continue, we killed it. Okay, so we did a position. All right, the positions, we added the positions, and the colors for them is a random colors, like they are random colors. So each circle for a particular mode we can have at a particular time when you come to the screen, you're going to see different color. You're going to see a different color. You're going to see a different color. All right, and yeah, so the circles we did add and position. All right, so we position them, and we are using the value listenable builder. All right, it takes in a couple of things, and we passed the selected mood. Then we did yeah, to our builder, and we continued, and we passed the either we check if the mood is selected. Okay, so we use the mood. You can see it is in our list over here. Okay, and the next one is if the mood is selected, then the background. All right, the background color, we want it to be blue. All right, if not, it should be this kind of pink color but with an opacity of 0.1. And then we return our container. So this is where everything happens. All right, we did our padding, we did border. All right, we wanted some border around it. Okay, a border of about a width of about 2.0, and then the color, we gave this color. All right, like I said, for the border. All right, then the shape is rounded, so circle. Then inside our container, because it's a container on a container, yeah, like in a container. All right, if you can see over here, if you can see, I don't know, but there's a rounded thing before this particular container. I don't know if it is visible, but yeah, you will see that when we, yeah. So, and then we check another container, the size. We give it the size of the random sizes that we created. So for the width, and for the height too as well. So it is a random thing. Boss the creation, and we give a color of yeah, a pink with some opacity. Then it's shape, the shape is circle, right? And we are passing in the image to it. Okay, and the image, we want it to be that visible. All right, so based on the size of the circle, it takes we do a multiplication of it, of the random size outcome, a multiplication of about 0.8. All right, to make it much bigger. Yep, so that is just that. Okay, so now we come here. This has to take a couple of things. All right, so what we want to do is that's the prompt screen at the very top. All right, after we created selected journals. All right, so we can do the selected mood. All right, and then we created that. Okay, so it's not going to be final, it's going to be a string because we are using a string. All right, and we'll call this selected mood. Okay, all right, and let's do that for the image. So we'll copy mood image. Okay, that is done. Then we can come inside our expanded. It's expecting a couple of things. All right, can say that it's saying that the name parameter on mood is required. All right, okay, because we created that in the random circles. So let's do that on mood. Okay, and on mood we'll pass in the mood. All right, and we'll pass in an image as well, and then we can pass the selected mood. Okay, we create that to the mood. All right, then the selected image. So what we want to do is when a particular mood is selected or something like that, when we want to pass it to the name of the mood and the image to whatever screen that we are going to use to display the playlist. All right, we'll see that very soon. Okay, so okay, image, and that is just that. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's refresh. Awesome, so we can see that. All right, the circles with different shapes, or different sizes and different colors. Let's do a refresh too as well. Let's see. You can see that. All right. Let's do another refresh. You can see. All right. So anytime you come in here, there are a couple of there will be different positioning for them and different shapes for the various modes and all that. So you can see if I select, okay, at the moment it does not work because we've not added the on tap for the select. All right, but this works. Okay, so let's do that. Let's add the on tap. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we'll come to our container that begins everything. All right, so this container. All right, and then what we want to do is we'll wrap it in a gesture detector. We'll wrap that in a gesture detector. Awesome. Then we'll call the on tap. All right, so inside on tap, what are we saying? So we'll say that we want to pick the value of the selected mood dot value. All right, and we want to say, is it selected? All right, if it is selected, then do something. All right, so if it's selected, don't do anything. All right, but if it is not selected, don't do anything. But if it is selected, then we want to make use of the mood data list. All right, the positioning of it, or the index of it, and then the name. All right, so we want to make use of that. Okay, so let me copy, and then this, instead of doing mode, we will be doing image. All right, value is selected. All right, so we want the mood data, the index of it, and we want the image. Okay, and then the last thing we want to do is pass it to wherever we want to. All right, so we'll make use of the widget dot on mood selected. All right, on mood selected, couple of things that we want to do. Selected mood dot value, we want to make use of that. Then selected mood image dot value. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's do that. Let's refresh the app. Awesome. Now if you make a selection of an image, you work. All right, yep. Okay, awesome. All right, okay, so now what we want to do, let's see what we want to do. We want to ensure that if a mode is selected, the various channels are selected. When you click on the submit button, it should interact with the API and display the necessary thing that based on your mood and the channel. All right, so let's see what we are supposed to do. Yeah, so what we want to do is when you click the submit, this should come. All right, if everything goes as planned. All right, this should come. All right, and when this come, whatsoever mode I select, the image is going to be here. The name of it is going to show. Then we display the various the various list or playlist that we want. Okay, yep. And then you can see this rounded floating action button. All right, so yeah, so we are going to do that. There are a couple of things that we would want to do before doing that, so let's do that. Okay, so before we write our function to fetch from the API, there are a couple of things that we want to do. All right, if we come here, you can see that I've added a .env file to to the files over here. All you have to do is just click outside and just click add file and create a .env file. And then once you've done that, you want to do this token, okay, equal to, and inside here you add your token over here. I'll show you very soon. You'll go and generate that token from OpenAI. All right, yeah. So that is what we will do. Then right after that, there's a particular library or package that we want to install. Okay, so in your favorite browser, just so in that, all right, in the that, you just want to search for .env. So flutter .env, you can see it over here. So it will be the first thing that will show. Okay, so flutter.env. all right, and then we pick it over here. All right, so let's get back to Visual Studio Code. You want to paste the code, what you copied over here, and wait for the installation to be complete. All right, so once that is done, you can see that it's added. All right, once that is done, you want to also come into the pub/spec file. Okay, and inside the assets, all right, you have to ensure that you've already added the .env file. Okay, and then inside the assets, you do this .env. Okay, .env. Yeah, so that's the only thing that we will do also in the pub/spec file. Save it. Okay, then once that is done, let's scale that up. Let's scale that up. Okay, so there are a couple of things too that we want to also do in the main, in our apps root entry. Okay, so let's do that. So inside our main .dat, all right, right at the top over here, you want to add these particular lines. So widget, all right, is widget flutter, widget flutter binding. Okay, dot ensure initialized, then just this. Then the second thing is you want to do await. Okay, sorry, you have to ensure that this is asynchronized. All right, so yeah, the main function is asynchronized. That's when you'll be able to use the await. All right, so await, then we'll do .env .load. Okay, yeah, so that is also done. Okay, now let's open, let's get our token from OpenAI. So in your favorite browser, just search for OpenAI API or something. Okay, yep, so OpenAI API. Okay, so you want to click OpenAI API. You want to click that. Once that loads, you would want to, okay, so you ask to be authenticated. All right, so when you click on the dashboard or something, you ask to be login. All right, let's try to log in. Okay, do that, and then I'm signing. Okay, all right, I'm signing. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's go back. Now you see API key reference. All right, click on that. All right, so yeah, so when you click on the API key reference, then create an API key to access the OpenAI API. All right, if you have them, if you have other APIs, you can view them over here. But if you don't, so like in your case, you have to create a new API, give it a name. All right, probably what we are creating is Sonnet app. All right. So default project or read only, yeah, then just create the key. All right, do the necessary steps and you will get the key. All right, so once you get the key is what you will add to your, yeah, the .env, the token that you've created. Okay. All right, so that being done, now let's go to our no, we don't need our prompt screen. Okay. And inside our prompt screen, there are a couple of things that we want to do. Okay. Um, we want to create we want to ensure that when the user select a mood, okay, and select a journal, they get a playlist. All right. They get a playlist. Okay. They get this sort of playlist. Okay. So let's do that. That's what we want to actually do. So let's do that. So there are a couple of things that we would want to do. Okay. So right after the selected mood images, okay, we can say playlist. All right, and then we can do a list, because it's a list. All right, it's a list of songs, and okay, and a map, and then inside here we can do a string. All right, and we can also do another string. Okay, and then we close it, then we'll give the name. So the name is playlist. All right. Yep. So that is just that. We've created our playlist. Okay. That's good. We can now continue and create our submit function. All right. So over here, right beneath the on tap, all right, function. Okay, we can create our function. All right, so we say function to submit mood and genres. All right, and fetch playlist. All right, and fetch playlist. I think this is cool. Now let's create our function. All right, so what we do is future void, and then we can now call the name of our function. So submit selections. Okay, I think this makes sense, and it's going to be asynchronous. All right, okay. All right, so that is just that with our function. Okay, so we can now make use of this function. Let's pass it to our submit button. Okay, so our submit button starts here. All right, so let's do this. Let's wrap our submit button in a gesture detector, and then and then we can make use of the untap property, and then pass the select the submit selections function that we've created. All right, this is cool. All right, this is good. So let's now run our app. Now let's run our app and see what we are doing. At the moment, nothing will happen. All right, nothing will actually happen. It is just, so let me go. Whilst the upload, let me come inside our, yeah, okay, let's wait for the app to build. Okay, there are a couple of things that we want to do. The first thing that we want to do is we want to ensure that if the user does not make any selection from a mood, or does not make a selection from any of the music channels, and they do a submit, they should actually be greeted with probably the snack bar. All right, that's also another widget that will say that they've not made a selection either of a mood or something. So let's do that. Okay, so we write an if statement. All right, so let's do, okay, so if I come here, we can see everything. All right, at the moment we've not done anything. If we click on the submit, nothing will happen. All right, so let's do that. So we write an if statement. Okay, and now we can make use of the selected mood that we created. Okay, selected mood, we created it over here. So selected mood strings, all right, that we created, or variable. Okay, so selected mood, all right, if it is equal to now, okay, and selected journals, all right, selected journals, okay, is also empty, then something should happen. All right, so what should happen? And we are going to show the snack bar. All right, we'll use scaffold messenger, okay, dot of context. All right, and then we can use do dot show snack bar. All right, and inside here we want to specify const, and we can make use of the snack bar widget, and inside our snack bar widget we'll just state our content. What will be our content? We are going to make use of the text widget, and inside our text widget we'll just write what, please select a mood and at least one journal. All right, okay, so that is done. Let's separate, let's do some, okay, and then we can do everything over here. All right, that is awesome. All right, sorry, this should be here. Awesome. Okay, so we'll refresh. All right, okay, so if right now if I click on the submit, I should receive the snack bar. All right, so please select a mood and at least one musical journal. If I select a mood and I do submit, please select one mood. But if I do both and I do submit, nothing happen. All right, so that is good. So let's continue. Okay, let's continue. All right, we'll continue with our function. All right, yeah, So this is where we are now come to make use of we are now come to write a couple of codes to actually interact with the API more. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so in here I'll paste this code and explain what is happening. All right, so there are a couple of imports that we need to do. We first have import the flutter.env package that we added earlier. Okay, and then let's add the HTTP package to as well. All right, so to import, all right, and we'll do package. Okay, HTTP, then we do HTTP as well. Okay, so HTTP, then we do an alias. All right, say as HTTP. Okay, yep. And then what is happening again? Okay, so let's do a let's import the that converter as well. So that's then convert. Okay, all right, so now this clears every form of error that we are having. So let me explain the code. All right, let me explain what we actually pasted. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so yeah, so we first created our prompt. All right, so final prompt text. So we stated what we want to do, and it's taking in the mood and the various journals. All right, so join. All right, so yeah, so the various journals that the user would select. All right, then this over here, okay, this over here is doing the API call. All right, so it's fetching from OpenAI. All right, and then yeah, we passed our token to it, so it's picking from the .env file. All right, the token, and then yeah, these are what the structure of it. We are making use of the model GTP 3.5 turbo. All right, yeah, so that is just that. Okay, there are a couple of things that we want to add to this. Okay, so what we want to do is right after this we want to also print our response. Okay, in the console. So print the response of the body. Okay, for debugging sake. Okay, all right, for debugging sake. Okay, so we just do a print statement, and in here we'll do response dot prompt test. Sorry, response dot body. Okay, we want to print the body. Okay, yeah, so that is done. Okay, we are not done. There are a couple of things that we want to do. An if statement. Okay, okay, so if, all right, else. Okay, there are a couple of things. So if everything goes wrong, then we should print we want to show that in a snack bar, right? So we use the scaffold messenger. Okay, then we use dot of context. All right, and we use dot show snack bar. Then in here we'll make use of the snack bar. Okay, so const snack bar widget. All right, and we define our content. Our content is going to be a text widget, and what do we want to write in here? We want to say that our feed probably failed to fetch. Okay, failed to fetch playlist. Okay, yep. So let me just do some formatting over here. Okay, all right, fine. Now in here, the if statement. Okay, let's write the if statement. Okay, so first want to make use of the response dot um status code, okay, and that will set that to 200. That is fine, and we can state what we want to happen in there. So we'll just do this. Final data equal to JSON JSON decode. Okay, no, sorry, JSON dot decode. Yep. So JSON dot decode. All right. Yep. So in here, then we say response dot body. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing we want to do is final choices. Final choices, and we'll pass that to the data, and we will state our choices. Then we do that as a list. Okay, as a list. All right. That being done, then we can also do that for the playlist. Okay, so final playlist. All right, string, playlist string, and then we will do that choices dot empty dot empty, right? If it is, sorry, dot empty, then we print choices 0. Okay, and by if it is the messages, okay, then we'll add content, all coming from here, coming from the top over there. Okay, we're still not done. Then we'll do that as a string, Yep. If not, then she just return an empty. Yep. So I think that is done. This, if we refresh and we do something, okay, we select a couple of modes, this should fetch and print in our console. All right, so let's do that. So if I try to submit, nothing work, fine. I pick probably this is, then I pick probably R&B. All right, I'll have that printed in the console. Yep. So we can see, let me zoom in a bit. So you can see something, a couple of things printed in the console. It gives you a list. You can see the list. All right, Bruno Mars and a couple of things. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now let's continue. If we want to show a loading cycle, all right, and we would want to, if the list that has been fetched from as a result of the API call, we want to also display that to the user. Okay, this is what we actually want to do. All right, this particular page. Okay, so the image and the list. Okay, so let's continue. There are a couple of things that we have to do. Okay, let's continue. A couple of things that we have to do at the top. So the first thing we want to do is so we've created our playlist. We want to also create our loading. All right, so we'll make use. So let me add a comment over here. Say loading state. All right, and it's a bool. All right, and it's going to be it's loading. It's going to be set to false. All right. Yep. So its loading is equal to false. Okay. That being done, then we can continue. We can move to our submit, and in here, right after the return, we can use the set states all right, and we will pass there is loading to true. All right, that's the first step. Okay, that's awesome. The second thing we want to do is right after the response, okay, there are a couple of things. You can see that yeah, the playlist is actually separated. All right, you can see so the first one, they are all in different cards and all that, so we want to actually do it that way. Okay, else we are just going to have it all printed for us as a join, and we don't want that, so we want to actually separate each of the music playlist that will come. All right, so there are a couple of things that we would want to do, and for that I'll just copy a code and paste it. Okay, I'll copy a code and paste it inside this if statement, so the if ends here. All right, so in here I just copy the code and paste that in there. So this is what I want to paste in there. So I just copy everything from here and explain what is happening. Okay, all right, that's awesome. All right, so what we kind of did is yeah, so we are splitting each list. All right, we are splitting the playlist, all right, into different list. All right, we want to actually ensure that each playlist that will come, we'll be able to have it different songs on different card. All right, so yeah, so that's what we are doing. So playlist, and we split them. Okay, and then we are splitting them so that each one you can get the artist, the name of the artist, and the title of the song too as well. All right, yeah, so you can see that the name of that Bruno Mars, then you can get the name of the song. The second list is Beyonce, then that's it. So it continues in that regard. Okay, and I think right after that we are done with our submit okay function. All right, right now what we want to do is we want to actually display the screen. Okay, the screen, this particular screen. Okay, when the playlist is fetched, we want to actually show this particular screen with the mood, the name of the mood, and this particular playlist. So let's do the first one. All right, let's do the first one. Okay, so back here, we'll scroll down to pattern around content. All right, effects in a chart. Awesome. All right, effects in the chart, which is the first column. All right, so this is the first column containing everything. Okay, this is a column to containing everything. All right, awesome. So what we want to do is the first thing we want to do is if data hasn't been loaded, we want to do is loading. All right, so pass there is loading. Okay, and then yep, and then we'll center the inside the center widget will show a container widget. Okay, and then in the container widget there are a couple of things I want to do. So padding, then const edge insect, then we want to do all to 12.0, and then there are a couple of things that we want to also add. Okay, so we want to specify a height of 50.0, weight, which is also be 50.0. Then we can do our decoration. All right, decoration, then we'll give a box decoration widget, and then here we can specify our color, and our color is going to be white. All right, so it's just going to be color, then VScode. Okay, and then the last thing we want to do is shape. Okay, and we use shape.cycle. All right. Okay, so let me do this. Awesome. Then inside our container widget, we'll specify our child, and we are going to make use of the circle progress indicator widget. All right, and inside here there are a couple of things that we want to do. Probably we just want to do a color. All right, and we just do const color, and then we specify our value to 0. We're just going to make that one black. All right. Yep. Yeah, so that will be that. Okay, and then okay, so this will show if once we do the call. All right, and then if we do the call and still it is empty, all right, the playlist is empty, to make use of the playlist that we created. All right, playlist is empty. All right, if it is empty, then we show this particular column. All right, so this is our first column. All right, and then which will show this particular screen for us. But if it is not empty, then show the next column. All right, perfect. That's awesome. So let's specify our children. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we would want to specify in here. All right, and then so let's see what we are supposed to do. Okay, well, let's see what we are supposed to do. So we want to get hold of this. All right, there is also a button over here, some rounded container over here. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so we'll do cross axis. We want to center everything, so cross axis the center, and in here we will make use of the expanded widgets. All right, the expanded widgets. And the expanded widget is going to take in a stack. All right, it's going to take in the stack widgets. All right, and then we will specify our children inside this widget. Okay, that's all. Let me put a column over, comma over here too. So the first thing we want to do is to specify a row. All right, and in a row we'll do our children. All right, and want this to be at the end, so main axis dot end. This will put our container, that particular rounded container over there at the end of the screen for us, and it is a container. All right, it is a container widget. So container widget, and inside the container there are a couple of things I want to do. The first thing is specify the height, which is 40.0, the width, which is also 40.0, and then we'll do a decoration. We'll do box decoration, and inside the box decoration there are a couple of things I want to do. The first thing is to specify a color, and the color we are going to make use of color white. Okay, awesome. All right, And the next thing we want to also do is to do the shape, which is also going to be circle, rounded. All right, awesome. Awesome. Okay, that's perfect. Now let's specify the chart, which is an icon. All right, the chart which we are going to use is an icon. So const, I want it to be centered. All right, so let's do a center widget first, and then we'll do another chart property. Then we'll make use of the icon widget, and then we'll specify icons dot playlist. All right, playlist at rounded. Okay, perfect, that is fine. Okay, so we are now done over here. Right after the row, the next thing we want to do is specify a couple of padding. We want some padding between the image and the icon at the top. So the first thing is we specify the padding widget, and inside the padding widget we'll use const edge insect. We'll do only, then we'll just do top 40.0. Yep. All right, so inside our padding, we want to specify the chart. All right, so let me pass a comment over here, say selected mode image. Yeah, all right, so the chart for that is going to be a container. All right, and then inside the container we'll do a width, and we are going to make use of the media query dot of context dot size dot width. All right, that being done, then we can do the decoration, box decoration, and in here we can make use of the decoration image. Okay, we can make use of the okay, sorry, there are a couple of things that we have to do. Okay, so decoration, we want to show the selected image. All right, so we say under selected image, okay, if it is not equal to null, all right, if it is not equal to null, then show the image. All right, if it is, so let's do that. So in here we want to show image, and then we'll make use of the asset image widget, and then in here we'll just pass the selected image. All right, widget with that, and then we'll do this. So we'll do a fit. Sorry, we'll do a fit. Yeah, a couple of issues. Okay, so let's do that. Let me clear this. All right. Okay, so decoration. All right, the first thing we want to do is selected image, selected mode image. Okay, and then if it is not equal to null, all right, then show the box decoration in widget. Then inside the box decoration widget, we can make use of the image property, and we say decoration image. All right, then we make use of the image property inside the decoration image, and we'll call the asset image, and then we can pass the selected mood image to that. Okay. Yep. And then if not, let's do a fit. We want everything to be fitted. All right. So let's do a fit here. So fit, then we'll do a box fit dot contain. Okay. All right, that's awesome. Then if not, then just show now. All right. I do not know why this is happening. Okay. All right, so that's the wrong place. Okay. Yep. All right. Awesome. Okay. Yep. So this will actually show the image. All right. Then right after the padding, we can use an align where we want to align the text inside that. All right. So in here, we use alignment widget, and in the alignment widget, we can see alignment dot bottom center. All right. And then we can specify a chart property. All right, so the chart property, the first thing we want to do is make use of the container widget. Then inside the container widget, then we can do a padding const edge insect all. Then we do 3.0 pixels, and in that we can specify decoration box decoration. All right. Yep. So box decoration, and then we can specify a border radius first. Then the border radius, we want to do it circular, which will give 20.0. The next thing is to specify the border, and then we'll do a border.all. All right. And in here we can specify our color, and our color is going to be color height. So const color, sorry. Okay. And then we want to give a width. All right, so a width of 0.4. That is awesome. Okay, so right after the decoration, let's add some opacity to this. Okay, we want it to be light, a bit lighter. So we do 0.4. That's fine. And then right after this, we also want to make use of another container. All right, so chart property, make use of another container widget. The inside the container widget, there are a couple of things that we want to do. We'll do padding, and then const edge insert only. All right. Then when we do the edge insert only, there are a couple of things that we want to specify. So we first specify left. So let me use symmetric, okay, which will be fine. All right, and then we can specify horizontal, which is left to right. We'll use 16.0. Then we'll use vertical, which is top to bottom, and we'll use 8.0. That is fine. Awesome. Then inside the container widget, we are still not done. We want to do decoration. We'll use box decoration widget, and inside the box decoration widget, there are a couple of things that we want to do. Specify our color. We use const color widget. All right, then it's going to be white. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then we'll add some opacity to that. Okay, with opacity we'll do 0.8 as well. Okay, and then let me see what is left. Okay, then we can also do border radius. Then we do border radius, the circular. We are going to make use of 20.0 as well. So that being done, now we want to actually show the text. All right, so let me see, selected. Let me pass a comment. So selected mood text. All right, so make use of the chart property, the text widget. Then inside the text, there are a couple of things that we want to do. We just pass the selected mood, all right, to that, and then yeah. If it is now, then you just show nothing. All right. So specify our style, and we are going to make use of the Google Fonts .inter. All right. Then inside here we specify our font size, which is going to be 14.0. We'll specify our font weight. Our font weight is going to also be 600. All right. Then the next thing we want to do is to specify our color, which we are going to make use of. We are going to use color black. All right. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I think with this, we should be able to, show the selected stuff and all that. So let's restart our app. All right. So we click in here, mood. Let me just pick hip hop. All right. And just do that. So we see a loading cycle, and then we would see, then once everything goes through, our image and the mood we'll see over there. All right, so we get a loading cycle, everything goes through. Wow, awesome. So we see the image that we selected, we'd see the mood over here. No problem. So the next thing we want to do is we want to now do this thing. All right, it's also another container. This is a size box with a playlist. Then we declare we show these cards. Then the last thing is when you click, when the user clicks on the floating button, we should bring them to this particular page. Then the last thing we just do is when they click over here, they come to this side. So let's do that. Let's do this particular side. All right. Okay. So what I want to do is let me bring this. Okay, so right after this expanded, we are using two different expanded for that. All right, so use the second expanded, and the chart is going to be a pattern. Okay, pattern widget. At the moment, let me just do const edge insect and just do a top of about 15. We'll change this very soon, but I want to demonstrate something. Okay, so right at the top of this two expanded, all right, I want to paste this particular code for the size board. All right, so the size box, we did a width of about the entire screen, give a container, and then did some margin, then we did some padding, give a decoration, and did some border size. All right, then we give border side at the top, all right, of that particular container, and then we did a circular border radius, all right, circular of about 12. All right, then we added a text widget to display the text playlist. All right, yeah, so if I save, refresh, awesome. All right, so we can see that over here. Now I want to come inside this expanded widget, right, the second expanded widget, and build our card. Okay, yep, I just did this. I told you I just did this, so this might change. So let me remove this. Okay, what we want to use is we want to use a list view. All right, we want to use a list view dot builder. All right, then inside the builder, there are a couple of things that we want to specify. Okay, so let's do that. So the first thing we want to do is do a padding. All right, and then edge insert, the padding is going to be 0.0. All right, there will be an automatic padding, which we don't want to, so we want to get rid of that. We'll do an item count, and the item count, we are going to do playlist. We are going to do the length of the playlist. All right, yep. And then the last thing we want to do, yep, so the last thing we want to do is inside the builder, we want to get rid of this, and we'll do context. All right, then we'll do index. Okay, and then we can bring a curly bracket. Then inside the curly bracket, we want to do final song. We'll set that to the playlist. Okay, yep, and then we'll bring the index. So we want to pick the index of the playlist. Awesome. We are still inside the builder. We'll return a pattern widget, and then we'll do const, then we will do edge insect only, because there are a couple of things that we want to specify. All right, specify left to be 16.0, right to be 16.0, then the bottom we also want to use 20.0. That's fine. Awesome. All right, so inside our padding, all right, we'll make use of the chart property, then we'll call the container widget, And inside the container widget, there are a couple of things that we want to do. We want it to have the full width of the screen. So media query dot of context, and then we'll do size, then we'll do width. Okay, that's fine. Then let's do some padding. All right, and the padding we are going to specify const edge insect or, and we are going to do 16.0. okay, then we'll do a decoration, then we'll do box decoration. There are a couple of things that we want to do inside. We want to specify our color. All right, so color property const, and then we'll use the color widget, and then we specify hex code, and it's just going to be the light pink. All right, but with this time around we'll add an opacity. All right, so that's, and then we'll do 1 2 3 4. Okay, then with opacity we are going to give it about 0.3 to make it very lighter. That being done, we can do a border radius, and the border radius we are going to do a circular, and then we are going to specify about 30.0, which is fine. All right, yep. So we are done with our container. So let's come over here and specify what we want to be inside our container. We specify the row. We are going to make use of the row widget, and inside the row we'll do our children and what we want to be done. So let's do a main axis dot start and the cross axis dot center. All right, so main axis, and then we'll do dot start. All right, so this will start everything. Then we do cross axis, cross axis. Then we do cross axis dot alignment, cross axis alignment dot center. That's awesome. Now inside here we can now specify what we want to be in our children. All right, the first thing we want to do is to use a container. All right, and inside this container we'll do a pattern or. All right, and then const edge insect or, we'll do 8.0. all right, the next thing we want to do is to give it a color. All right, and then we'll specify const color. We are going to make use of the pink color that we've been using until. All right, so 1 2 3 4, and we are going to do lights. All right, so we are going to do with opacity, same thing at the top over there. I'm going to do 0.3. Awesome. Okay, the right after the color. All right, there are a couple of things that we would want to do inside. Let's do border radius. So let's put this in a decoration. All right, box decoration, and then we can do border radius. Then we do border radius dot circular, and we are just going to specify 12.0. All right, so that is just that for the container. We'll see what the outcome will be. Then we'll specify the next container. All right, and then we'll say container, the width is going to be 65, and the height is also going to be 65. All right, then we'll do a decoration box decoration, and inside our box decoration there are a couple of things I want to do. The first thing is to specify the color. All right, and then const color is going to be white. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do is to do a border radius, and then we are going to do a border radius dot circular. Okay, and then the border radius dot circular is going to be 12. All right, 12.0. The next thing is to bring an image inside this. All right, so make use of the image property, and then we'll do const, then we'll make use of the decoration image, yep, so image, then we specify asset image, and then we will specify the path for the image. All right, so it's asset images, and then we have a particular image called the Sonnet logo. All right, yep, .png. That is fine. That's fine. Then we want to do a fit. All right, so fit box fit, then we are going to do box fit dot cover. Okay, awesome. When you see this card, you see that there's an image. All right, okay, before the name of the artist and their stuffs. So let's continue. So yep, that is done. We can move outside the container. All right, so the container, we'll do a pattern, and then we'll do const edge insect only. All right, and then we'll do left of about 16. That's fine. Okay, and then what we want to do inside the pattern is to ensure that we'll make use of the chart property, and then we'll make use of the column widgets. In here we'll specify the children. All right, and then we'll do a cross axis. Okay, let's do a cross axis. So cross axis alignment, then we do cross axis alignment dot start. And in here we want to now do the name and the name of the artist, and then the song, all right, the title of the song. So the first thing we want to use is to make use of the size box widgets, all right. Okay, and then what we want to do is to specify the width, all right. We'll do a media query dot of context dot size, all right, dot width. Then we do a multiplication of about 0.5. That is done, all right. So we can make use of the chart property and use the text widget, and inside here we will specify a couple of things that we want to be. So we want the song, okay. Then we want the name of the artist, all right. So artist, all right. Okay, then we do a substring, okay. So should there be any number? If you check over here, they are number, right? So yeah, so number, then there's a dot, and so we want to get rid of those things. We don't want to show them, all right. So we just do that of 3. That's awesome. Now let's do a style. We use Google Fonts dot inter and in here there are a couple of things I want to specify. Let's just do the normal text style, all right. That's fine, still the same thing. So font size, we'll use 14.0. Font size of 14.0. Font weight of about 300, all right. And then we specify the color. So color, and it's going to be just going to be white. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, then we'll add this shade in case there should be an overflow, all right. Should there be an overflow, we don't want that, okay. So we do text overflow, okay, dot ellipsis, okay. So if there's an overflow, you will see dot dot dot, all right. That is if it sees the size that we specified over here, the size that we specified over here. And then let's do max lines, all right. We just want to do 1. That's fine. Awesome. So I think we can copy that for the title of the song, okay, and then change a couple of things. So just change here title. We don't need substring, all right. Okay, so we need the size was the same size, all right. And then we want it to be 16, okay. Then the font weight will be bold. The color is going to be the same. The text We don't want it to overflow and just that. All right. So that is done. If we refresh, we should see that. Awesome. Okay, no problem. All right, so we get a card. All right, so now let's do that. Okay, so happy. This time, let me go for Afrobeats and submit. We are getting an unknown list. Meanwhile, we are getting the list. All right. Our list is showing, but meanwhile, it's telling us that these are unknown list. Okay. I'm coming. Okay, so guys, I've seen the problem. What I just did was to kill the app. All right, and do a restart. Okay, so we'll do that. So yeah, so now let's see what we are supposed to do next. What we are supposed to do is to add a floating action button, and once you click on it, it should bring you to this particular screen. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so we'll come here, right at the top over here. I want to write the function for calling the mood screen or something like that. All right, so copy this, copy and paste. All right, so what we've done is we've created a function that calls the first screen. All right, so that I'm saying that if the playlist we want to call the column when the playlist is empty. All right, yeah. So let me just do this. So I select a mood, probably in the mood of romance. The mood is romance. I pick some R&B and just submit, and then we can get a couple of lists. All right, yeah. So that is just that. So we've added this. So let's add the floating action button. All right, and it's going to be here. So let me copy this code and explain what is happening. All right, so here we've added this property floating action button, and we've set it that when you click on it, all right, when you click on it and the playlist is empty, don't show. All right, don't show the floating action button. But if it is not so and there's playlist, like we can see the playlist over here, the floating action button should show. All right, so let me refresh. We see the floating action button. All right, so when you click on the floating action button, it should bring you to this particular screen. So let's do that. All right, so yeah, container, we did some the creation and all that. All right, yeah, so all these things, I think you guys are good. And we pass the show first column function or method we created up there. Yeah, so once I click on that, it should bring me to this particular screen also. So now the next thing we want to do is when the user click on this button, we want to see this dialog, all right, with these two images, and we'll wrap it up. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so let me bring the Visual Studio Code. All right. Okay, as I select a mood, let me say relaxed. I pick reggae, do a submit. All right, fine. So a couple of moods. All right, so now what we want to do is this particular button. So let's get started. So right at the top should be this container. All right, yep. So we want to wrap this container in a gesture detector. All right, then we specify our on tab, and inside our on tab we are going to make use of show dialog. All right, and inside the show dialog, okay, there are a couple of things that we want to do. So the context is going to be context. All right, then the builder, the first thing we want to show is we want to pass to it is the context. All right, yep, and in here we can return an alert dialog. All right, so let's do this. Okay, so inside the alert dialog, the first thing we want to write is the title. All right, so we'll make use of the title property, and then make use of the text widget, and inside the text widget I would say create playlist on. All right, create playlist on, that's fine. Let's style it. Style will make use of Google Fonts .inter. All right, and in here a couple of things we want to do. We specify the font size, of about 16. Then we specify font weights of about 400. All right, so if I refresh, I click on this, awesome. So create playlist on. All right, so that is just that for the title. The next thing is to do the content. All right, and the content, we are going to make use of a row, and we specify the children. All right, the row, we want it to be centered. All right, we want the content to be centered. So we'll do main as x dot alignment, main as x alignment dot center, and now we can now make use of our two containers. All right, so container. All right, and the first thing we want to do is give it a height, and the height is about 50.0, and the width is also the same, 50.0. We'll do decoration. All right, inside the decoration we do a box decoration, and then inside the box decoration we'll just do shape. We'll do circle, and then we will specify image, decoration image. Then inside here we specify the assets image, and the image will specify our path. All right, so we use assets images, and then we'll make use of Spotify.png. I have an image by that name in there, so do well to grab that. Awesome. All right, and then the next thing we want to do is to do a fit. All right, we'll do box fit. So we'll do box fit, then we'll do cover. All right, awesome. So we'll do this container, then we'll do a size box, a sized box, and in here we can specify width of about we'll do about 8.0. okay. All right, now let's copy this container and paste that right after the size box, and here we'll just use the Audiomack image that I have. All right, we have an image. Let me cross check. Call it audiomack.png. all right, that's awesome. So save that. When I click on that, we should see them. All right, that's awesome. Now we want to ensure that when we click over here, it opens Audiomack and all that. So there are a couple of permissions that you need to allow. All right, that you need to do. So the first thing we want to do is to go into the iOS runner, then look for the info list. All right, so right let me say right over here, this is fine. Copy this, we'll copy this code, I'll copy this code and paste it here. Okay, so we are done with the info list. All right, so that is just that for the iOS. Then you come to the Android, come to Up src main Android manifest, and over here too as well, you copy this particular code to grant some permissions if you are using Android to test. All right, so right at the top over here, that's fine. Okay, so we can close that, close this thing. All right, that is fine. Okay, so to ensure that when you click on any of these, you should open the favorite browser so you can have the playlist over there. Let's go to the top of our screen. Right after the show first column function or method, we want to copy this code. All right, copy this code. Let me explain what is happening. All right, so you want to import this package. All right, you might have added that, so you would have to add the package when it comes to the pubspec file. There's this package called flutter URL. All right, URL launcher. All right, so you want to add that. Yep, so once that is saved, so yep, so let's kill our app. We want to kill our app. Yep, okay, so whilst our app runs, let's add this method to the various platforms. All right, so we will wrap Spotify in a gesture detector. All right, okay, and over here we'll do an on tap, and which we are going to set it to open Spotify. All right, that's awesome. Then we will come to this container for Audiomack. All right, we'll wrap it inside a gesture detector. Okay, and then on tap we'll set that to open Audiomack. That's also awesome. All right, so our app builds, everything shows fine. All right, awesome. So let's click on that. This time around, let's pick some gospel music. Yeah, it's a Sunday. All right, then we just submit. We get a couple of gospel music. All right, yep. So if you click on this, all right, and you click on Spotify or Audiomack, it should open your favorite browser for you. So I do that. That is not working. I do not know why. So let's do that. It is not working. Okay, so open Audiomack, open. Yep. Okay. So open Spotify. Open Spotify. Open Audiomack. All right. Okay, so let's go to this particular file. Yeah, Spotify Audiomack. All right, everything's fine. Let's go to Up SRC main. Okay, permission, everything is fine as well. Okay. So when I pick rock, all right. Okay, you know what? Let's kill the app. All right, and restart the whole thing again. Okay, so we want to do flutter run. All right, and wait for the app to build. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be an interesting thing. All right, this is going to be an interesting thing whilst the app builds. So I'll forward this and get to where the app build. All right. Yep. Okay, so we are in here. So we go here. I pick some feeling love. I pick some gospel. Submit. Yep. I got some couple of gospel. All right. So we click on this button. We can click on Spotify. Voila. And it opens Safari for me. And then, yep. So I get to see Spotify. All right. So at the moment, the playlist is not created. So we have to actually that code. We have to add that code to do the playlist for us. So I want to challenge you guys. I'll leave this part to you guys. You have to acquire an API from Spotify, get the same thing from Audiomack, and include them over here and do a couple of things in here. So that whilst you click on any of these, it will create the playlist for you. All right. Yeah. So that is just that. Um, I would like to say that don't forget to like, share, subscribe for others to see what we are learning over here, and stay tuned for our next tutorial, where we are going to build something interesting and exciting. All right, so see you in the next tutorial. Okay, bye.